Get ready for the biggest stories in music and politics. We start with a heartbreaking loss as acclaimed blues vocalist Jeff Taylor, the frontman for Altered 5 Blues Band, has passed away at the age of 64. We dive into what this means for the legacy of the band and the incredible power of his voice that resonated across the globe.
Stop using your finger for notes, sketches, and edits. This Jam Jake stylus pen gives your iPad a smoother, more precise writing feel with palm rejection so your hand can rest naturally on the screen. It charges fast, works for hours, and comes with replacement tips. Perfect for school, work, or creative projects. Check the link in the comments to grab it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the intense political climate shaking the government. We explore the massive impact of the unitary executive theory and the strain of nationalism, examining how actions taken by the Trump administration and the shift in international perspectives are reshaping American life and policy. Now shifting gears to the cutting edge of rock and vocals. We talk about Renaissance frontman David Benites and his work with Extreme Vocal Institute, where he's pushing boundaries with new music and exploring what it truly means to find your authentic voice in the modern metalcore scene. And finally, we celebrate a global icon. We look at Ali Campbell, the unmistakable voice behind UB40, as he continues his mission to popularize reggae music worldwide. Don't miss this full breakdown of these massive stories. Acclaimed blues vocalist Jeff Taylor, the frontman for Altered 5 Blues Band, has died at the age of 64. Taylor passed away unexpectedly but peacefully in his sleep on April 30, 2026, at his home in West Allis, Wisconsin, according to statements from the band and Blind Pig Records. Taylor was a founding member of Altered 5 Blues Band, co-launching the Milwaukee-based group in 2002. Over more than 2 decades, the band has released 8 albums and performed in 13 countries, cultivating a significant following both domestically and internationally. Their latest release, Hammer and Chisel, dropped in February 2026 and garnered high praise. Channel YouTube awarded the album a 9.5/10 score, with reviewer Nevin Tilley describing Taylor's vocals as radiating power and soul, and calling the singing a blues vocals masterclass. Signature tracks by Altered 5 include Great Minds Drink Alike, Holler If You Hear Me, Charmed and Dangerous, Don't Tell Me I Can't, Right On, and I Got It Good. The band has also received multiple Blues Music Award nominations, with their 2014 album Cryin', Mercy being honored by the Blues Foundation as Best Self-Released Album at the International Blues Challenge. Beyond his musical career, Taylor maintained a commitment to education, having served as the principal of West Allis Central High School and previously as the principal of West Milwaukee Intermediate School. Earlier this year, the band undertook a tour to India before returning home to support the release of Hammer and Chisel. In a heartfelt statement, the band expressed profound sorrow, noting that Jeff Taylor was the soul of Altered 5 Blues Band, emphasizing his warmth and generosity alongside his exceptional voice. Downbeat magazine recently hailed him as one of the finest voices in the modern blues arena. The band announced that funeral arrangements would be shared as details become available, and they asked for thoughts to be kept for his wife, Kristen, and the entire Taylor family. A recent commentary by Sarah Sharp, Lamance of Chattanooga, analyzed the current state of American governance, arguing that the nation is facing systemic challenges stemming from 2 core issues: the unitary executive theory and a rising strain of nationalism. Lamance contends that the concentration of power within the executive branch, as exemplified by an executive order signed by Trump in February 2025, declaring all federal agencies subject to presidential control, has dismantled checks and balances established by the founders. This shift is illustrated by severe consequences across various agencies, including the loss of personnel at the National Weather Service, the termination of NIH grants, and reduced foreign food inspections. Lamance points to recent disasters, such as the Guadalupe River flooding, as evidence of institutional vulnerability. Secondly, the commentary addresses a growing nationalism, championed by political theorists like Yoram Hazany, which prioritizes tribal bonds, shared blood, language, and ancestry, over foundational ideals like equality. This philosophy has reportedly entered the White House, evidenced by rhetoric that frames immigrants as a threat and increased enforcement actions by ICE. Lamance counters the narrative that immigrants drive crime, citing data showing lower crime rates among immigrants, and suggests that fear is being leveraged to justify expanded power. The piece culminates in an analysis of the recent visit of King Charles III to the White House. Lamance contrasts the king's message, which emphasized the foundational strength of democracy, the principle of the Magna Carta, and the value of diversity, with the administration's framing. The juxtaposition of the king's call for an inclusive democracy with the White House's caption of two kings serves as a potent metaphor. Lamance concludes that the country was founded specifically to avoid kings, and that the current trend of unitary executive control and nationalist sentiment is undermining the American identity. She posits that a genuine vision of America is one that respects the principles of diverse representation and constitutional law. Renaissance frontman David Benites is gaining significant traction, leveraging his background with the Extreme Vocal Institute to guide contemporary vocalists in maintaining vocal health during studio and live performances. The band's latest single, Split Brow, is highlighted as a fresh take on their influences, successfully blending established sounds with a modern appeal that resonates with current audiences. In an in-depth discussion, Benites detailed the creative process behind the track, emphasizing the unconventional journey of road testing the song and his personal leap into the producer and mixing mastering role, which he described as a release akin to creating a new song. Benites noted that the song's power was unlocked through live performances, where streamlining the delivery allowed him to command the situation, resulting in a precise sonic vision for the recording. Benites stressed the importance of collaboration, citing his extensive experience working with various producers and bands, which has profoundly shaped his artistic growth. He is now empowered to inject his own creative spin into his music, confident in his ability to execute a vision when an idea is clear. Addressing the future of music releases, Benites advocates for a balanced approach, suggesting that while singles are valuable, the desire for full-length albums remains strong. He emphasized the necessity of allowing ideas time to marinate, to critically challenge them, before release, contrasting this with the current trend of immediate release. Split Brow was cited as an example of a track that benefited from this space, allowing for a collaborative shaping of the song's elements, including riff ideas and vocal delivery, where different contributors shaped the final amalgamation. On the theme of brutal metalcore, Benites reflected on the evolution of the genre from the early 2000s, connecting it to the raw energy and intense atmosphere of the Northeast. He acknowledged the diverse landscape of heavy music, spanning death metal and grind, while asserting that brutal metalcore perfectly encapsulates the current spirit of the scene, characterized by intense, visceral energy. He highlighted the passionate, high-energy nature of metalcore shows as a defining element of this sound. As an educator at the Extreme Vocal Institute, Benites discussed the driving force behind establishing the institute, noticing a widespread anxiety among musicians, from established artists to newcomers, regarding their future and vocal well-being. Recognizing that many were suffering in silence, he founded the institute to create a space where artists felt empowered to seek help and focus on continuous self-improvement and maximizing their potential. He described his teaching philosophy as deeply personal, focusing on understanding an individual's core tendencies and roadblocks to develop bespoke methodologies rather than simply repeating instructions. In terms of vocal technique, Benites noted a growing trend toward more honest and raw expression, moving away from overly technical acrobatics toward authentic emotional delivery. He is actively encouraging a focus on organic energy across the entire musical spectrum, vocals, instruments, songwriting, and production, to create music that grabs the listener emotionally. Looking ahead, Benites expressed excitement for Renaissance's continued evolution, focusing on building a deeper connection with their audience. He acknowledged the personal nature of the split-brow process, which involved stepping into new technical roles, as a form of personal development that extends beyond just vocal coaching. The overarching goal is to maintain open communication, nurture relationships within the industry, and ensure that artists can pursue their vision without compromising their authentic selves. Ali Campbell, the unmistakable voice behind the globally recognized reggae band UB40, is celebrating a rich career rooted in humble beginnings and a lifelong mission to popularize the genre. In an interview with Connorsville News-Examiner, Campbell reflected on his journey, tracing his roots back to the backstreets of Birmingham, where he was first drawn to reggae music, listening to sounds like Cheerio Baby and Many Rivers to Cross. Campbell has achieved immense success, having sold over 60 million records, secured 4 #1 global singles, and released more than 24 studio albums. He discussed the band's origins, noting that UB40 was named after the UK unemployment benefit form, Unemployment Benefit 40, which provided the foundation for the band's first album and musical education. The band's trajectory took a significant turn after being discovered by Chrissy Hind of the Pretenders, leading to extensive world tour where songs like Red, Red Wine and I Can't Help Falling in Love with You were transformed into reggae classics, broadening the genre's appeal far beyond its Caribbean origins. Campbell asserts that reggae's influence remains profound in contemporary music, citing its foundational role in genres such as hip-hop, drum and bass, and techno. He emphasizes that his core mission has always been to foster unity, freedom, and collaboration. Following a disagreement with management, Campbell formed his own iteration of UB40, emphasizing that his involvement with the original lineup, singing on all 40 top 20 hits, and writing the melodies for 24 albums, made him the authentic voice. He continues to tour globally as UB40 featuring Ali Campbell, maintaining a relentless pace. Looking ahead, the band is set to bring the Big Love Tour 2026 to the Gas City Performing Arts Center on August 11th. Campbell remains dedicated to his purpose, spreading reggae, one song at a time, to a multi-generational audience.